In this lecture, we are going to learn about two very simple but very important string methods in JavaScript, and that is to uppercase and to lowercase. So let's start with to uppercase method. The to uppercase method creates and returns a new string that is the uppercase version of the original string, but the original string remains unchanged. So here if you see an example, here we have a string called hello world, and on that when we use this to uppercase method, what it does is it converts all the characters of that string to uppercase. Let's try to understand this with an example. So here we have a string called str which is assigned with a string value. Now what I want is I want to convert this string value all to uppercase. That means all the characters of this string should be converted to uppercase. And doing that is very simple. All we have to do is on that string we need to call to uppercase method. And this to uppercase method, it is going to return us a new string. So if I hover over this to uppercase method, you will see that the return type of this method is string. So it is going to return us a string. Let me go ahead and let me store it in a variable, and let's call it upper str. You can name this variable anything. And when I go ahead and when I log this variable in the console, and if I save the changes, you will see that all the characters of this str string has been converted to uppercase. And this is the use of to uppercase method. We also have this mixed case variable where we are assigning a string, and in that string we have characters in mixed cases. And what we want is we also want to convert this string all to uppercase. So again, I'll create a variable. What I can also do is I can simply go ahead and I can use console.log method, and in that console.log method I am going to use this mixed case variable which is storing a string value with mixed case characters, and on that I am going to call to uppercase method. So this to uppercase method, it is going to return us a string value by converting all the characters of this mixed case string to uppercase, and that returned string value will be logged in the console. If I save the changes, you will see that all the characters of this mixed case string, it has been converted to uppercase, and that has been logged here. So this is the use of to uppercase method. In the same way, we also have to lowercase method. The to lowercase method works in the opposite way. Basically, it creates and returns a new string that is the lowercase version of the original string. And again, the original string is not modified. So if you see an example here, we have this string called hello world. And what we want is we want to convert all the characters of this string to lowercase. For that, what we can do is on that string, we can call to lowercase method, and it will convert all the characters of that string to lowercase, as you can see here. Let's see this with an example. So now what I'm going to do is here I'm going to change this string, and here I'm going to make all the characters of this string in uppercase. Okay. And now our requirement is we want to convert this string all to lowercase. So on that string, now instead of calling to uppercase method, we can call to lowercase. If I save the changes, you will see that this string has now been converted all to lowercase. In the same way, if we want to convert this mixed case string all in lowercase, here also we can call to lowercase method. And this will convert all the characters of this string all to lowercase. If I save the changes, you can see all the characters of this mixed string that has also been converted to lowercase. So this is the use of to uppercase and to lowercase method. Here let me use to uppercase so that it will be there for your reference, and you'll understand what is the use of this to uppercase and to lowercase method. So to uppercase converts all the characters of a string to uppercase, and to lowercase converts all the character of a string to lowercase. Now let's try to understand the use case of these two methods. So let's say we have a requirement where we have a name, and what we want is we want to change the first character of that name to uppercase and rest all other characters to lowercase. So for example, let me go ahead and let me create a function, and I'm going to call it as format name. This function is going to receive a name parameter. Okay, and when we call this format name function, for example, here I'm going to call this format name function and let me pass a name here. I'm passing John, and you will see that all the characters of this name is in lowercase. Now my requirement is I want to change the first character of John to uppercase and rest other characters to lowercase. In the same way, again, let me call this method, and let's say I have a name something like this. So here I have the name in mixed characters, but my requirement is first character should be in uppercase and rest other characters should be in lowercase. So here, let's say Mary. Okay, and let me add one more name here. So let me call this format name function one more time. And there, let's say the name is all in uppercase. So let's say the name is Steve. So I want to format this name, and there I want to convert this first character to uppercase and rest other characters to lowercase. How can we achieve that? Let's see that. So what we are going to do is here we are going to have a name. When we are calling it first time, this name will be assigned with John. So here what we will do is first we will get the first character of this name string. And to get the first character of the name string, here what I'm going to do is on the name, I am going to call substring method. So we have already learned about substring method, and I want to extract the first character from this name. This name is going to be a string value. So here I'm going to specify the index as 0 because as we have learned in a string, each character is present on an index, and the index in a string also starts from 0. So here I want to extract only the first character. So for the start index, I'll pass 0, and for the end index, I'll pass 1. And this will return me the first character from this name. So here, if I go ahead and if I log it like this, you will see that for the first call for the name John, it has extracted the first character, which is J. For the second call, it has extracted the first character, which is M. And for the third call, it has extracted the first character from the name, which is S. So this is correct. Now what I want is I want to convert these characters to uppercase. So here I'll say to uppercase. Okay, let me save the changes, and now you will see the first character of each name has been converted to uppercase. I'm going to assign it to a variable. So I'll remove this console.log statement and I'll store it in a variable, and I'll call it first char. You can name this variable anything. Okay. Now what I want is I want to extract rest other characters. So except first character, I want to extract rest other characters from the name. And for that, again on the name, I'm going to call substring method. And since I want to extract all characters except the first character from the name, here I'll pass the start index as 1. So it will start extracting the characters from index 1, that means from the second character, and from there I want to extract everything. So I'm not going to pass any index here, and in that case this substring method is going to extract everything from index 1. So here if I go ahead and if I log it, let's see what we get. If I save the changes, you see we are getting rest of the characters from each name. So from the first name we are getting these 3 characters, from the second name we are getting these 4 characters, and from the third name we are getting these 4 characters. And I want to convert all these characters to lowercase. So on that I'm going to call this to lowercase method. If I save the changes now, you will see that all the rest of the characters has been converted to lowercase, as you can see here. And now instead of logging it, I'm going to assign it to another variable, and I'll call it rest char. That means rest of the characters. And let's remove this extra closing parenthesis from here. And finally, I'm going to join the first char and rest char. So if I show you how it will look like, so let's say first char plus rest char. If I save the changes, you will see that each name has been formatted properly. The first character of each name is in uppercase and rest of the characters are in lowercase. So instead of logging it here, I'm going to return this value from this format name function. And now this format name function, it is going to return us a string value. If we want, we can go ahead and we can store it in a variable, or we can also directly log it in the console. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to directly log it in the console, and I'm going to do it for all the calls. If I save the changes, you can see that now the names are getting formatted properly. So this is one use case where you can use two uppercase and two lowercase method along with this substring method. Another use case is when you want to compare two string values. Let's say we are creating a sign up page. So let's say while sign up, user has to provide an email and password. Now, before signing up the user, what we want is we want to check if with that email there is already a user in the database. So let's say there is a user. So let me create a variable and let me call it as user email. Okay. And let's say this email is maybe something at gmail.com. Okay. And in the database also, we have an email. So I'll call this variable as email in DB. And in database, we have an email called something at gmail.com. Now, if you see, both of these emails are same. The only difference is in this email which the user is providing while signing up, there we have some of the characters in uppercase and some of the characters in lowercase. But in the database, the email which is saved, there all the characters is in lowercase. So while comparing here, if I go ahead and if I compare user email equals email in DB, and if I save the changes, you will see that it is returning false. Although both the emails are same, since the case is not matching. In the first email, in the user email, some of the characters are in uppercase and some are in lowercase. But in this email in DB, all the characters are in lowercase. So there is a case mismatch. And because of this, this equality operator is returning false. But both the emails are same. So for a proper comparison, what we will have to do is we will have to convert this email and this email all to lowercase or all to uppercase before comparing. And that will be the better comparison. So here what I'm going to do is before comparison, I'm going to convert this user email all to lowercase and this email in DB also all to lowercase. And then I'm going to do the comparison. So it should be to lowercase. And now if I save the changes, now it is returning true because now before comparison, what we are doing, we are converting both of these emails to lowercase and then we are doing the comparison. You can also use to uppercase. Here also it should be to lowercase. Okay, you can also do it by converting both these emails to uppercase and then comparing it. But here I'm using to lowercase. So this is another use case when you want to compare two string values. There also you can make use of to uppercase or to lowercase method. So I hope with these two examples, now you understand what is the use of to uppercase and to lowercase method, where you can use to uppercase or to lowercase method. This is all from this lecture. If you have any questions from this lecture, then feel free to ask it. Thank you for listening and have a great day.